none other than CA Vijay Raja sir and CA KL Prashanth sir. I request our chairman to escort them to the dais and hand them over with the floral bouquet. Welcome, sir. Now I request our chairman to give a welcome address.
Most respected teacher and our member CA Vijay Raja sir, CA KL Prashanth sir, Secretary Pramod, and my dear friends. Happy evening to you all. Good. This half-a-day mentorship program for young members, when we discussed with Vijay Raja sir, because generally we will conduct mentorship programs for newly qualified chartered accountants. What are the ways and means of practice or employment? What are the opportunities available? These are the topics we wanted to discuss and motivate our young members to aspire, to inspire and to aspire to do more. But I feeling bad because members are very less. Either they got already got mentorship or still not got or still confused to practice or employment. But whatever is there, but when we attend, listen to seniors like Vijay Raja sir, definitely we'll get a lot of insights. What needs to be done, how we can go forward, because we love to, because when we were also student, we are craved to hear from Vijay Raja sir, the way he speaks. Definitely this session, whoever attending, it will be a value added for to them for practice or employment. Anyway, the members generally, they will sit back at office and watch, I mean, in YouTube. Maybe after that they will realize that they would have been sat physical and heard, sir, it will be better. Anyway, I won't take much time. Even I am also keen to listen to sir. Once again, I welcome you for this mentorship program. Welcome you all. Over to Pramod. And I want to give some of the important announcement. We are planning to have on 15th on program on transfer pricing, one-day full seminar. On 19th, we have a program on AQMM, CP study circle. On 28th, we have a full-day seminar. I request member to register for this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to take the privilege in introducing two gentlemen who is on the dais, but of course they do not need any introduction in our fraternity, but I still take this privilege. Firstly, I would like to introduce A. Vijay Raja sir, who is insolvency professional, chartered accountant, gold medalist, cost accountant, secured AIR third rank, Bachelor of Law, secured first rank for the entire state, Company Secretary, secured All India rank, BCom graduate from Bangalore University, secured 28th rank in state, Independent Director certification from Institute of Corporate Affairs. His professional experience include, he is currently a partner at Guru & Jana, heading the corporate governance team, presented various papers on income tax, corporate laws, IFRS across India, a corporate trainer and a visiting faculty for over 3 decades. He's conducted corporate training in various fields ranging from corporate governance, taxation, IFRS for Toyota Kirloskar, APEC Countries Network Federation of Asian Accounting Firms, Mangalore Chemicals and Fertilizers Limited, State Bank of India, Mysore Minerals Limited, Karnataka Power Corporation Limited, Comptrollers of State of Accounts Department, Karnataka State Bureau of Public Enterprises, Indian Institute of Management. His publication and passion includes writing. He is author of Law, Ethics and Communication, popular publication in the profession, author of Corporate and Allied Laws, another publication in the profession, visiting faculty at ICAI, ICAI, ICFAI, IBA, MATS, NSB, and such other institutions. His course close to 45,000 chartered accountancy students. With this brief introduction, I welcome you again, sir. I would also like to introduce CA Prashanth KL sir, who is a chartered accountant with 19 years of experience, who is a bachelor from commerce from Bangalore University, diploma in Information System Audit, certified under the International Taxation course conducted by ICI. His experience include partner in Guru and Jana from 2006 till date. He specializes in indirect and direct domestic and international taxation. His professional experience include finance and taxation at UB Group of Companies, heading a central monitoring team at Arvind Group of Companies. Seminars and conferences includes co-author of books on international taxation published by KSCA, co-author of book on GST, Where Did My Profits Go? An illustrative narrative of GST law. His speaker in various forums such as ICAI, DTRI, Indirect Tax Department, and other professional forums. He has presented papers in Dubai, Delhi, ICA chambers in Bangalore, presented papers in regional conference. At office, he heads the training initiative at Guru and Jana. He has done VAT implementation for clients in Dubai. He has an initiative called Shraddha, which is a knowledge update activity of the firm, and he has been instrumental in doing it for 3,553 days consistently without a break. Welcome you, sir. I think with this brief introduction, it's time for me to exit and give the stage to the expertise here. Over to you, sir.
A very, very happy evening. Am I audible? Check, check. Yeah. Happy evening to all of you. Actually, in my office, they were asking me, hey, you could have gone with t-shirt, jeans, pant. Why did you go with all full suit and all? Why are you going? I said, no, topic says globally. What are the opportunities available globally? So therefore, I thought for that sake, at least, because the moment you say globally, all that is required. Then I remember in one of my sessions which I took in Chicago, that was in US. So there I was asking them, hey, you guys always wear coat, you're always fully decked up. So I was asking them in one of the conferences there, I was taking that session there. So I asked them, you're all decked up fully. They said, yeah, it's too cold here. Okay, that's the reason. So I said, okay, anyway, AC is on, so it's good that if we are actually having this, it's nice for us. Okay, as far as what we will be discussing here, all said and done, all these years I've been a teacher. Kortirado? Thanks. Check. Okay. Yeah, this is better. Great. In all my, coincidentally, this is my 30th year of coming on stage. So I started coming on stage in 1993 October. So that's when I was just showing Prashanth the record, yeah, as to when I actually stood on the stage first. So it was in October 93. So this would be the 30th year actually. So I thought today I will not stand. So I always been standing, no? So let me sit also and take one session now. Initially I will do this, but later on I'll end up standing because I'm used to standing. What I would like all of you to do is, what we are going to discuss today. See, if you have come to the session, it should not be for time pass. CPE to get is not difficult, correct? So I think we have come here for a purpose. We have to use this purpose correctly. Is the voice echoing? Sound fine. Check again, because I'm hearing my voice twice. Okay, now? Is it okay better? Little better? No? Let's see. We will wait for some more time. If it doesn't happen, I think we'll have to adjust again. Still not very good. I'm not sounding like me. I'm sounding like somebody else. Yaar matarta idare anta. Right. Okay. I would expect that all of you have a pen and something to write, a book you have. Yes. Right. I know we belong to technology world, but if you have a pen and check, check. Yeah. Okay, little, I think I'm sounding like myself a little bit. Okay, good. So what I will be discussing will be very important, need not be just at the beginning of the profession, I think at any point of time, because certain things I will be discussing with you will be universal truths, which I think all of us should know. It's still echoing. Okay, so let's see how it goes. Yeah, no problem with that. First, let me start with a good story for all of you, which can make a difference. Maybe if I stand, it may help. Let's see. For some time, I'll see if it works. If they don't want me to sit, I don't know. Okay. Let me start with something which I want you to understand. Salpa better ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. One of the aspects I want you to understand is, I'll tell you through a story which might make a difference to you. Father and child. Father came home from office. Obviously a very hectic day. September season. Very hectic day. And then October is still hectic. So father is tired. He comes home and he's reading the newspaper. As he was reading the newspaper, a small child comes running and says, Father, Father, play with me. Father says, no, give me some time. At least let me read the newspaper for some time. Son says, no, you have to play with me. Father says, how to make this person be quiet so that gives me some time to read the paper. Very small kid, very, very small kid. So father got a brilliant idea. Father said, I'll do one thing. As he was seeing the newspaper, he saw in one page, there was this courier advertisement, FedEx. FedEx advertisement was there, wherein it was the world map. The entire world map was there. Father got a brilliant idea. He took that sheet, that advertisement sheet which had the world map, took that sheet, tore it into pieces, and gave it to the child. Child was watching, what is my father doing? The father tore the entire world map into pieces, gave it to the child, and told the child, this is your jigsaw puzzle. Now you arrange the world map and then I will play with you. And father was confident. Now happily next half an hour at least I can read the newspaper, because world map to do the jigsaw puzzle is not easy. The child said okay, and then the child started. Father said next half an hour I am free. Started to read the newspaper. Just in 2.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes, child called, father, father. Father asked, what? World map is ready. World map is ready now. The father goes and sees there, world map is actually ready. Looked at the child, looked at the map. Father started to get a doubt. I only don't know where is Uganda. Because somebody asked me Uganda, I will say Yarganda. Yeah. So I only don't know where is Uganda, where is Czechoslovakia, the spelling gottilla. And how did this child, and started to get a doubt, is it my child? Ada inge from me. And therefore the father was really stunned. Son understood something is not okay. So told the father, Father, are you surprised that I got it in just 2.5 minutes? Father said, yeah. And son said, even I don't know where is Uganda. Even I don't know where is Czechoslovakia. Even I don't know. Then how did you do it? The child said, as you were tearing the newspaper, I was standing on the other side. On the other side, there was one Shah Rukh Khan advertisement. That's all I know. For me, I don't know where is Czechoslovakia and Uganda, but I know where hand should be there, where leg should be there, where nose should be, where eye should be. I only arranged the entire and turned it over. That became the world map. A beautiful lesson for all of us. That's when it seems the father understood. If you get the man right, you can get the world right. You just have to get the man right first. Then automatically you can get the entire world right. What I will be talking about is about getting the man right. We are talking about what are the opportunities we have, correct, in profession or in practice. There may be 100 different roads I can show you and tell you that there are hundreds of ways in which you can create those opportunities. And I can show you saying that this is national highway, this is state highway, this is the village road. There can so many ways in which you can actually grow. But I don't have a proper vehicle with me. I am staying in a bullock cart, in a Jatka Gadi. Then what is the use of all those roads when I am not ready myself? So I think in entire aspect of opportunities to grow, the first important aspect is, am I equipped? I think that's the first thing that we need to start with. Am I equipped for it? So let's start from there. Once I am equipped, once I know that my vehicle is ready, then Prashanth will start. He will tell this is NH, National Highway. Now, once you are ready, then you can go there. Correct. Prashanth will tell you about NH. He will tell you National Highway is there. Correct. Am I ready for it? Right. Like very recently, Prashanth was telling me about how a newly qualified chartered accountant started practice full Josh. And then suddenly some work came up and Prashanth asked, hey, IFRS work has come urgent. Good remuneration, very good fees you will get. Why don't you do it? Nanuk barala IFRS. Then some other day he called up and said, hey, look, this particular work has come where you have to do the SAP reconciliation. SAP reconciliation barala. Then why you started practice? Anything I ask, we said, I don't know, barala. That means it's not about opportunities that I'm not growing. It's that I have not been ready for anything. So let us talk about how we keep ourselves ready. Then we'll talk about what we need to do in areas. Areas will come later. First, am I ready for it? So my focus would be on making you ready for what it has to be done. It seems there was one tree, and one of the branches of the tree, I'm still echoing. I'm still not comfortable with the sound. It's still echoing actually. I don't think I can go on like this for 2 hours. Yeah, it's definitely echoing for you also, right? Yeah, it's still not clear. No, not good. First opportunity is we can become mic specialist. In all places, we will only supply mic. Good mic we'll give. Yeah. Okay. Before they come, I think I will still continue for some more. Let us say there's a tree. There is one branch of a tree. I hope you made note of the first one saying that you get the man right, you can get the world right. So because that would be the focus on what I'll be discussing full. Okay. Let us say there's a tree and one of the branches is infected. All the other branches are very nice. One branch is infected. You called someone and said, look, this branch is infected. He said, no problem. And he took the pesticides and started to spray those pesticides in that particular branch which had all the problem. Nothing happened. Still that infection was still there after even 15 days, 1 month. Whatever you tried, nothing happened. Then you call somebody else and ask the farmer, Mali, saying that, hey, can you see this? That this branch is infected, rest is okay. All other branches are fine. Only that branch is infected. The Mali said, okay, okay. And he did not even bother to see that branch. He started to dig. Digging started. His owner is telling, hello, digging alama, ali branch. That branch only is not okay. Okay, digging. He didn't understand what's happening. And then the Mali said, I've been a farmer from 30 years and I know it is the branch is what you're thinking, but it is not the branch. It is the roots. If we can get the roots right, the branches will grow by itself. So he dug the roots and he found that there was a lot of plastic waste and toxins which was there in that soil. And one of those roots was leading to this branch. So if you clear up those toxic waste from there, he said automatically the branch also will become all right. So we are all so busy looking at this is there, that is there, but we are not seeing from how we are, from the root level, are we ready for it? And why option here is to
what is this fashion all about? Fashion means it is already there and you want to move along with that. That is called fashion. So even when talking about opportunities for your career, there are a lot of things which everybody is doing, so I will also do. You understand? My senior, or let us say when I started my articleship, he started his office with income tax filing. I will also do income tax filing. It's like that. So that is called fashion. Fashion means what everybody is doing, I will also do it. That is called fashion. F. S. First one is F. So I mentioned just like it will be VST. This is FST. First one is fashion. Second one in S is the style. Now style comes with some creativity. When it comes to style, wherein the style is all about giving you signals. Now in what style I come gives you one signal, correct? Now if I come like this, there is a signal. Now if I go like this for a meeting for a board of directors, there is a signal I'm giving that I'm serious about what I'm doing. So these are called signals. Now as far as signals are concerned, these are something which has just now started. Something which has just now been created, they're called signals and they're called styles. So you have to start searching for what are those styles which are available, what signals I can get. That means it has just started. Some feel, for example, GST just started 2017, 16, 17, we say GST just started. So that was the signal and the style. It's a style of practice which we created there. So that's called style. And T stands for trend. Now when it comes to a trend, what is this trend? You must have heard of the word trendsetter. Are you a trendsetter? Are you creating a new trend which was not there before? And that can happen through extrapolation. Since I am in the consulting team, so we always use the word DCF, yeah, discounted cash flow. So since in office I'm part of the consulting and strategic, so we talk about DCFs and valuations and so on. So I always talk about any DCF valuation if I have to do, it is all expected cash flows. That means I have to extrapolate the future, which means I have to look at the trend. So it's not about the fashion, it's not about the style or signals, it's all about the trend that I can look into. So what is the trend? is what I'll have to look into. So in three things. So whenever we're going to discuss, and whatever Prashanth will tell you also, you will have to bracket them. Is it a fashion which people are already doing, or is it a style, a signal which you've got, which has just now started, or is it a trend which can be something of the future? So these are the three areas you have to look at. If you get into F and S, that is called as a crowd race, because the crowd is already there. P is what we talk about trend setting, where you are totally unique in what you are doing. That's what you have to look for. This is clear. This much is clear. Normally, whenever we talk about what opportunities are there, we go by statistics. The statistics is something we love to see, isn't it? We see a lot of statistics. And I always tell this. I was telling even today, just now in the, with the chairman, sir, I was talking about this, telling what we count need not be necessarily counted. You know, yeah. What we count need not necessarily be counted. What do you mean? What we count need not necessarily be counted. And what is counted actually was uncounted. What are we talking about? I'll give you two examples to make you understand. World War II. When World War II happened, there was a statistical analysis that was done as to what was happening to all the planes, the fighter planes. Now, they started to see the statistics that all the fighter planes which came for repair, they were all hit maximum at the tail of the flight. You know, the flight. They realized if maximum bullets have hit the tail, so they realized that means when the flights are, you know, the fighter planes are going, by the time these people can shoot, the plane would have gone in probably the tail part is what they were able to aim, and you understand the speed of the bullet and the speed of the flight when it is going, by the time you can hit it, probably hit the tail. So they realized with all the statistics that the highest hit for the fighter planes was at the tail. So what did they do? You tell me what you should think. If you are given this statistics, what is your advice to the military team now? Our advice would be we have to strengthen the tail. Obviously, we have to strengthen the tail. Can we make it bulletproof, the tail part, so that we will not have any problems at all? And that is exactly the advice everybody gave based on the statistics. And then came one man and he said, wow, nice statistics. He said, what is counted need not necessarily be counted. That's what do you mean? I said, what you are counting is about how many flights were damaged at the tail which came for the mechanic shop for the repair, not realizing all those bullets which hit the tail came back to the base. All those bullets which hit the engine never came back only. They all got destroyed there only and crashed. So the focus is not about what tail is getting hit, and therefore we will make the tail more stronger. The fact is the one which hit the engine never came back. So your focus should have been on the engine and not on the tail at all. And therefore we say what we count actually will not be counted. So what we are counting is around measurement itself. It's around measurement. So that and all we are telling World War II. Other old example, give latest. Now Tago, we'll give one latest example then, right? I'll give you the report of 2018. 2018 report of Nestle. If you have heard of Nestle. 2018 report of ITC and 2018 report of Hershey's, US. They have not yet fully been in India, they just started. You see the reports, you will find what all these reports tell. They say our candy business will be the best. The candy business basically means the chocolate industry, those candies, small, you see the small, single ones. They said we will have a tremendous business. We are going to have amazing sales. Oh, we are expecting this sales, that sales, and so and so. Because we know our competitor can be the other fellow, right? Paddy can be the other competitor, or Parle can be the other competitor. We know how to handle these competitions. We will take care, and therefore they said we are prepared. All of them took a big hit. All the candy sales has fallen down. All of them has fallen down. All statistics went wrong. They forgot that their greatest competitor was Google Pay, Phone Pay, ATM, basically UPI, what we call it as UPI. UPI competitor for candy now. In all the, you're perfectly right, in all the statistics, they forgot one of the major sales is because they don't have change in the shop. People never had change in the shop, and instead of giving change, they used to give you two Candyman. They'll give you two, what is the toffee, sometime, what is that, coffee co, one melody. That is what they used to give. And people didn't realize that my actually highest amount of sales is happening through this. You will never know this. Why? Because only two chocolates you're giving, one chocolate you're giving, not realizing. People are not buying in bulk. But that two chocolate, can you imagine the number of millions of transactions that happens across India? Toll gate was enough. If you're not aware, I will tell you, before FASTag and all came, every toll we stop, that fellow will say, I have to change the 2 chocolates he will do. That's how it used to happen. And you used to simply take whatever it is. In fact, I tried once. Next to toll, I gave him 50 chocolates and said, Nana, he said, hey, I said, you can give, I can't give, or what? He said, no, that's how it is. I said, okay, fine. Right? They never even thought that my greatest competition will come from UPI. And just for your statistics, latest statistics 2022, do you know, out of the total number of transactions, I'm not talking about value, I'm talking about volume. In the volume of transactions, 2002 report, you check it, it says, out of all the non-cash transactions, I'm not talking about cash transactions, non-cash, 72% is through UPIs. It is not through your RTGS, NEFT. 68% in value is from RTGS, NEFT. That is from value, because value-wise that has highest. I'm telling volume. By volume-wise, 72% of India's transaction is happening through UPI. Can you imagine how much would have been the candy sales if the UPI was not there? Now that's what we mean by statistics. So statistics, what we see, need not be the statistics what we understand. Titan industry never thought that a mobile phone will become its competitor. Because today you don't need a watch. Your phone is enough. They never thought that that will become the competition. The Sony and the Kodak films, we all know, we used to use the Kodak films for 32 reels, 36 reels, and all used to come when we used to click. They never thought that a mobile phone will become a competitor for Kodak camera. They never thought about it when it was launched. So look at what we are counting and what we are not counting. So when you're talking about the future trends, I want you to understand that trend is not based on what you are looking. There are so many things that we are not seeing. And that is what Prashanth will be highlighting to you as to what are the things we are actually not looking into and what you can start looking into. So today, imagine the same situation 10 years, 20 years back, if I told you that the biggest competitor for Titan watch will be phone, you will laugh. Then what is the connection between the two? Or for a Kodak camera, greatest competitor will be mobile. You will laugh because at that time we had Nokia 1010 and 1100, very other game with a snake. That's all you had. So you will laugh. Then how can that be a competitor? Even now when Prashanth is going to tell you a few things, you will be wondering, how can this be a future for a CA? How can this be something as my future activity? It sounds like that because for the candy companies, if you had told them that UPI will be a competitor, they would have laughed. Saying that how can a UPI become my competitor? How can PhonePe, Google Pay become my competitor? Because today everything by PhonePe will pay the exact amount you can send. Correct? You don't have to worry about what is the change and all that, nothing to worry about at all. There are certain things. I want you to keep your mind open to understand you never know in statistics what you are counting and what you are not counting. Am I very clear on this? And then I will be asking you a few questions and I don't want answers from you. It is for you to introspect. Starting with one very important question. This question is what I'm going to ask you. You can apply it at any stage of your life. Any stage of your life, you apply it and that will give you a direction. I want you to write one first question to yourself. And that first question is, who am I? Who am I? No, when you write, don't write, who is Vijay Raja? Angala. That introduction they've given. If you can write the first question as, who am I? Now that's very, very important question. So what do you mean by who am I? I'll give you the answer little, because without the answer part little, who am I means I am so and so, son of so and so, residing at so and so, my age so and so, date of birth, adalla. Who am I is divided into three parts. So you have to put yourself into any one of the three: Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. No, I'm not trying to go into religion and all now. So you can tell, no, I don't believe in all that, you tell something else. Okay. But this is easier to understand. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. So you have to put yourself, are you part of Brahma, Vishnu or Maheshwara? That means what? Think about yourself. Are you a creator? Are you somebody who always comes out with new ideas? This is something which you have to answer yourself. Are you somebody who is very creative? You're always coming out with new ideas, unheard of ideas, unheard of thoughts. Are you somebody who is like that? Then you are part of the Brahma, wherein you come out with new ideas. That will help you. This analysis will help you a lot, because then it becomes easy for you to understand in which industry I should go in, or what type of practice I should do. That will help you. So first one is, who am I? Am I Brahma, the one who is a creator? I come out with new ideas first. Second, Vishnu, the maintainer. That means, no. You ask me to maintain this, ensure all compliance is happening correctly. Compliance calendar is there. Every month all these filings should happen. Correctly it's happening. People are working correctly. Efficiency is taken care. All the administration work is correctly happening. Maintainer. That means you know where your business is. Then you know what kind of work you're supposed to take, because you're a Vishnu, that is, you're a maintainer. So then you know, okay, I think this is my character, and therefore I think these are the kind of works which suits me best. These are the kind of activities I should take. Last, Maheshwara. Maheshwara is the destroyer. Angala sir, if I keep my iron leg itre ella destroy Angala. He is a destroyer of unwanted things and creator of a new path. Because role of Maheshwara is he will destroy the old and create the new. So are you somebody who, if I give you something ready also, you will actually destroy everything and say, I will do something better than this. That is what we call it as the reincarnations and the rebirth, which is all by Maheshwara. So he is the one who destroys it and creates it. We call it as the trendsetters. What we in our language call it as the trendsetters is the Maheshwara. So who are you? Are you somebody who is a creator, or are you somebody who is a maintainer, or are you somebody who actually destroys what is here and says this is not how it would be? I will change the entire landscape itself. This is something which you have to keep asking yourself. And I'll tell you one beautiful aspect of this. Today, when you look at it and think, answer will not come in first few seconds, because you have to think about it. You feel, I think I am Brahma. You may feel. But you know what? After a few years, when you look at the same question again, you start feeling, no, I think now I am Vishnu. Because now you're not interested in creating, because you don't want to take the risk. It all depends on which level of life you are. You reach a level of life, you feel, abhi risk nahi lena. When you're no more of Brahma, you're no more of Maheshwara, say, I am Vishnu, I'm happy with whatever. That level, that means it depends at what level of life you are in, wherein your stages will keep changing. And you will reach a stage, sometimes you're so frustrated with what you're doing, that you want to be the Maheshwara. You feel, Sakai today, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to do something else. And therefore you can become the Maheshwara. So therefore the situation can change at different times. But as at present, what are you? So the first question I want you to ask yourself is, who am I? I think you are clear about what I'm talking about. Yes? So please look into that question as to, who am I? This is the first question. I have lots of questions lined up for you. But before that, we will start with the presentation part. Whenever we talk about practice or profession, between the two, because we have only two things. When you talk about employment or you talk about practice, it's either a COP, that is a COP, certificate of practice. So I always tell, if you are in practice, you have a COP, certificate of practice. If you are in employment, there's always one COP above you. Will be correct again. So in employment, there's a COP, always watching how you are working and so on. So let's have a look at a few things to start with first. Let's start with the first one. if you can see the first one here, what we always think we should do. See what all I've given you as what all we can do. If you can see first one, develop a marketing plan, right? This is things when you have to start something, you develop a marketing plan. Second, getting reference. Third, brand your accounting. Next, yeah, branding your accounting firm. Next, develop marketing materials. You need to develop marketing materials to what you can give to others. Improve your website, network more. Next, embrace social media, offer community services, consider paid advertisements. So your social media, tell everybody I'm in practice, or I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Now, if you see below this, I've written something in red. What is that? What was in the previous 3 slides would take take a fabulous business development, but if you see the next one, what you will end up with all those who made note the first 3, some of them are, why you're telling so fast? I'm not writing, I'm not able to write. Tell slowly. See this. If you do whatever I told in the first 3 slides, if you land up with big expenditure, minimum result, less or zero business. Therefore, these were all bakwas ideas. So these ideas, what I told you, that is why I made it fast so that you don't have time to write. Because even if you have written Geach, whatever you written, these are all bakwas ideas only. So this is something which everybody will tell you, do this, then you do this, nothing will work. We are not into a product sale. We are not selling a product. We are not manufacturers of a product telling that, oh, what is the business plan? What is the market? We are not doing all this. We are not into that area at all. Then what is it then we are supposed to do? Then how do we decide what I'm supposed to do? Let's see. I will ask Prashanth to start, and then I will add with some more questions for you. Yes, Prashanth.
Thanks, Raja. That was a very, very detailed introduction. So I have to say, I thought you'll start and end also. Right from Brahma to Maheshwara. So, as you said, finally, by doing all the things that we told could be done, the next slide was to tell what is it that the ICA wants also. So it is supposed to be no advertising, no blogs, no jazzy website, no visiting card. So it's something like you're not supposed to market. That is as per the ICA regulations. So the marketing in the profession is not based on the regular business marketing what any business would normally do. But in fact, it has to be in a different manner altogether. Few of them, as we discussed today, we'll catch up, we'll see what would be those, right? So this is what ICA calls. So in case you're advertising and then you're marketing your profession as such, it is blasphemy. Because profession is not supposed to grow in that manner. It is supposed to grow with the individual based on his credibility. Credibility is everything. So over a period of time as professionals, have we developed that credibility based on which people would come to us, and not just based on the ads we have given, because advertisements would work for the first 10 clients. After that, those 10 clients are the people who are supposed to tell the others, okay, this is the kind of person he is. So how much of time have we as professionals invested upon ourselves to build our credibility? In fact, builds the next steps to take ahead with the profession as such. So there are certain methods what ICA also has prescribed. You as a CA professional can still do. And all these things are taken from the guidance note from the CA Institute as such. So we have not taken anything from the business field. It is purely from the professional field as such. In case you see the things that are lined up here, basically this would come once a professional is in existence, he has passed his CA, he has his own firm, or he has partners based on which he has done a partnership firm as such. So I should say we should have certain classifications based on which we have to take these discussions forward. When you're doing the profession, basically you may need to specialize in certain nature of work. For example, you may be a specialist in accounting. Is that sufficient? Now the point is, in accounts, there are various other fields as such. Either you can see the industry based on which certain accounts can be specialized, for example, say manufacturing, or can you just be a specialist in a service industry? Both works. So I'm saying the decision making has to be threadbare. It cannot be only at a very top level telling that, okay, I will do accounting. And then do what? So there has to be further questioning on that. If we're doing audit, there has to be a questioning on, we're doing audit, is it required because the law is asking us to sign it? So the purpose of the law is served. In what way did the client get benefit from the audit that we conducted? So all depends on the value addition that you gave during the audit. You wanted to do, say, direct tax practice. So direct tax practice, anybody would come to you, ask for filing a tax returns, and you upload it and charge you a fee for that. But then if you see the fee that you charge for it, and finally the effort that is involved, it is not at all commensurate. So can you identify the problem behind it? The problem behind the income tax right now is to understand how exactly the central processing fee service works, center works, how exactly the ITBA works, and how exactly the income tax portal, that is the dashboard in front of the assessing officer, works. You may be thinking, okay, I'm a specialist in section 45 subsection 4 clause 2. But the point is, you should also know on the other side how the income tax department is working. If you know that, it is possible that you can in fact tell the people all the demands that are pending in your income tax portal or the refunds that are pending in your portal, I can resolve it for them. So can you see the specialization part of it now? In case it is indirect taxes, the entire country is filing GSTR 3B. 3B, GSTR 1, do 2-year eco, send one mail and the thing is over. But the point is, for the business, how the GST is exactly impacting. Nobody is seeing. How much of the input tax credit could go to cost so that the input tax credit can be realistically estimated and taken. In many cases, we see reversals are happening much after the audits are completed, and based on which the expense or the write-off is getting accounted in the next year, whereas the cost should have hit the P&L in the current year itself. So there is a hope that we may get an input tax credit, whereas straight away there may be a disallowance on the input tax credit asset. So are we thinking from that perspective and giving an impact study and analysis to the client, or only doing the GST returns as such? We have to ask ourselves. I'm only telling, okay, where the specialization can be. I'm not telling filing GST 3B is wrong. That is also required. But when that is required, there has to be a system that has to take care. It is very difficult to keep taking the information in Excel, put it in a spreadsheet, take it to the returns, and keep doing the reconciliation offline. It becomes so difficult. In fact, if you have taken help of a software, the entire thing could have been done in no time. You can put your mind into increasing the value for the client. I think that should be the method. Assume, say, the company law itself. Raja, if we look at the compliances that goes through, it is phenomenal. The amount of forms that has to be filed, every time you have to see whether the provision is followed or not. It so happens that, we tend to see, okay, TDS so much you have to pay, advance tax so much you have to pay. But for the latest decision that is taken in the board, how exactly the company law has got affected or not. We are busy filing the forms and preparing the quarterly board minutes. But then for the latest decision, is it included in board minutes? Pertaining to that, is there anything that could have been done in the company law? That link is not there. In the consulting space, of course, you have several opportunities. It may be valuation, what Raja had mentioned, or it may be, say, the due diligence reviews, or preparing a data room. Assume you are handling a regular manufacturing company, how the job has to take place. There is a method X for that. Assume you are working for a startup. X, Y, Z, A, B, C, alpha, gamma, beta, nothing works in startup. Because the startups are there in many cases to ensure that there is a certain data that is available to them, which can be capitalized on a future date. Many startups work on this basis. So the point is how to get the data, how fast I can get it is the objective, and hence the entire revenue model goes for a toss, entire costing model goes for a toss. The entire thing boils down to what is the burn rate. So actually you're looking at, can I optimize the getting of the data into the business by optimizing my burn rate? Now, where are we now? None of the ratios are here. No working capital ratios, no net worth ratios, no turnover ratios, no profitability ratios. Actually, you are looking at how to grow this business so that their valuations can go up. Of course, whether profit is important, loss is important, valuation is important, we will keep it aside. That is about right and wrong. We are talking about, as a CA, what practice is there for me to do. Right? So let us focus on that area. Right and wrong, we will leave it there. So the point is, a startup needs fund. When the money has to come, you have to give data in a due diligence. Due diligence has to be conducted, otherwise nobody will put the money in your company. So if due diligence has to be done, there has to be a data room. Data room should be there for books of accounts. It should be there for your regular compliances. It should be there for the future plan of action. It should be there for the HR planning, manpower planning, place planning, okay, how to scale up the business. So for all that, there would be data that is available. Is it available in 1 minute? Shocking, right? So that is how challenging the CA profession has to be. You should challenge the startup telling that anything that is asked in your due diligence review, I'll be able to give it in 1 minute. I mean, look at the kind of risk you're taking to yourself. To that extent, the kind of delivery that you give can be really very nice and phenomenal. Assume that somebody comes for due diligence and you will tell this DDR is completed in 1 day. The job is done, because look at the way due diligence is conducted. In 1 day, you are able to close it. That is the confidence client would get on that professional. And now you tell me why he will not give you the next internal audit, why he will not appoint you for the next scrutiny, why he will not give us the statutory audit. So actually one work can feed the source for the other work. That should be the methodology. Otherwise, everybody will pitch for statutory audit. Okay, as per the provisions of this, statutory audit has to be conducted. I'm a practicing CA. Would you like? Okay, of course, you won't solicit. At least the indication given this, don't worry, I'm here to do statutory audit for you. Would not take us anywhere in the profession as such. Statutory audit should not be done. No, it has to be done because law requires it. But to grow the profession and grow as a professional, can we do the value addition to the clients? From functionality, we saw a certain perspective. Second, from perspective of whom to serve. Whom to serve? Individuals, salaried class, individual businessmen, corporates, startups, only large entities, fintech companies, manufacturing entities, government units, public sector undertakings. How do we choose? The choice itself are so many that it may confuse you in terms of, okay, where do I specialize, right?
In fact, just to interrupt in between, one of them who wanted to practice, he said, I want to practice. I said, good. Then I asked, what do you want to do? Will you do income tax? Income tax and all, I'm not interested. I don't want the client to come and ask me income tax like this. Whether you can save 30%, 20% expense can you show? At all, I'm not interested. Okay, GST, GST and all those, they are output to input to GST or 1(3)(b), then reconciliation 2-way. No, I don't want to do all that. Oh, we don't want that also. Then what you will do? Will you do something to do with compliance? No, that time I don't. Now, what you will practice? He said, I will do something where I don't have to worry about income tax notices. I will do something where I don't have to worry about GST. I'll do something where I don't have to worry about what to do with the profits. I said, what do you do? 5 years later, I met that person. He said, fabulous practice I'm having. What practice you are having? He said, I will take up all the seed investment companies, startup entities where no sales, so there is no GST. Yeah, No profit because all these startup entities mainly loss, so no income tax notices. Then what? I'm specializing in startups. So what is your specialization? Initially when they start, what they should do when they start, like what we call it as a CFO services, wherein I will tell you how to set up the things. That means I am not interested in getting into those litigations. We still found a space, and that's what Prashanth is trying to tell you. You have to see as to what, and that is what I was trying to tell you, saying what is your interest in? Who are you? What is it that you want to do? And you start doing that, you'll actually land up getting answers. Is this what I want to do? Is this the area that I want to actually practice in? I can go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, quite helpful, Rajan. So in fact, when you are looking at the kind of companies or the kind of clients that you're supposed to have, I said that confusion would be there. It is very important to zero in on that, on what is it that you want to do. So on one side, there is functionality. On the other, there is the kind of work that you would like to do. So the point is, can you marry both? So there has to be a marrying of both, because finally you have to render your service to the client, right? So one may be generalist versus a specialist, or generalist as a specialist. So in case you go to any of these startups or companies which are subsidiaries of holding companies, who are the heads of the organization? They're not business guys, they are tech guys, right? They don't know accounts, they don't know finance, they don't know cash flow, they don't know compliances. The point is, you have to tell them, you concentrate on business, the rest of it I'll take care. Now the point is, that is your specialization. You today don't worry about anything else, I'll take care. I'm not telling you to do conflicting jobs, because if you're accounting, you don't certify. If you're doing internal audit, you don't do tax audit. If you're doing management consultancy, you don't do stat audit. Perfectly fine. But then there is enough for everybody, and everybody can be busy in our country from day and night for 24 hours for our lifetime. So much of work is there. But only point is, we don't know where to go. That is the concern. So that is where things like networking will certainly help. So we wanted to give you this prelude, and then coming to the PowerPoint. We have to come to PowerPoint because we have prepared it. Otherwise, the focus is lost. So some of the PowerPoint things also we will do. So in this slide, if you see, it talks about networking, mergers, demergers, some disciplinary services. Let us stick on to certain slides for a while. So when it comes to mergers, okay, let me take one step back before I come here. When it comes to networking, networking is allowed under the ICAI guidelines for networking. There are guidelines which has to be followed, based on which you can do networking. So in networking, what happens? Some of the firms are smaller. There are individual firms. There are partnership firms. The statistics of that I'll take a little while later. So everybody cannot do everything, because each of them, at least on scale basis, the kind of scaling they can do in the profession, they can do certain scaling of the business, or the kind of service they provide. Somebody may be only direct tax expert, so he is stuck there. Now the point is, to enhance the capacity of the firm, you need more people at the top level first, because you need people who can provide service across various sectors. So as a result of that, it is difficult as an individual. You will be able to have a outlook of, okay, all these things I can do in the profession. Not possible, because for each of us, we have our own baggage. We come up with our experience. We know, okay, this is the practice I can do. But Raja can join me and he can tell, where are you? Another 20 areas are there. Why did you miss this? So you can imagine how different it is for one person doing a practice, for two people doing practice. It is not about 1 + 1 = 2. It is about 1 + 1 = 11. Synergy works, tested, proven, and we are there as a firm, more than 500 people now, and we have already done it. Now, if you look at the networking part, it says, okay, locationally, if you see you are there in Bangalore, can you expand yourself in Pune? So there is a possibility that you can contact firms in CA in Pune or say Delhi, say Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. You'll go to say West Bengal. You will try to say, okay, let us be one firm. But yet you'll not be called a firm, you'll be called network of CA firms. So there'll be a name that is given for the network also. So how the networking works, whenever the cross referrals come, it will be within this network. Pune guy gets a Bangalore job, Pune guy gets a Bengal job, Pune guy gets a Delhi job. He'll, source these jobs to those entities. But assume the reverse. All these three people get one client. Pune gets that three back. That is the synergy of networking. So as a group, you're able to serve 6 clients now. As an individual, you are able to do only 3. Makes a lot of difference. So networking guidelines are there. We will not go into technical part of it. That is one thing you have to keep open in your.
Yeah, in that relationship of networking, I want you to just see where you are. So just I want you to add one question to yourself. Add one question to yourself, that is, what type of a player am I? What type of a player am I? I'll tell you what are the 3 different players that can be there. Yeah? 3 possible types of players are there. You have to find out what type of player you are. One is called as team player. One we call it as a team player. Second, group player. And third, individual player. Now you have to identify among the 3 what are you. Are you a team player, group player, or an individual player? So let me explain what each one means. Group player, team player, individual player. Let's start with the first below one, the last one called individual player. Individual player means, have you seen even in employment people say, I like to work alone. Don't give me team and all. If you give me team, I am not able to delegate work to them. I should only sit and explain 100 times to them. It is better I only do it myself. Then that's the thing. You will say, no, instead of telling you 10 times, no, I only do my work myself. Have you heard of that? Many people tell that. Individual player. Individual player because he believes I can do it myself. I don't want anything else, anybody else, because it's a headache for me. They are called individual players. Now, if you are an individual player, you are best suited in employment, because an individual player is not ready to become a leader, because that is how leaders can never be individual players. Impossible. That's called individual players. The one lap above was called as group players. Now, who is a group player? Group player is, I will work with the group, but I'm still on my own. What do you mean? We are all going in one train. When we are all going in one train, that means we are going in a group. Correct. But I will get down at this railway station, you will get down at that railway station, you will get, that means our destinations are different, but we'll still go as a group. That is one type of networking what he was talking about, telling that we are all supposed to be in one network, but you do your practice, I will do my practice, he will do his practice, maybe we'll share a little overheads, we will do that. That is called as group player. So group players means what? I will do what I am doing, you will do what you are doing, but still we are within a group. That is called as group players. Team player. Now, team player is the leadership skills. What is the team player? Team player basically means you are putting the team ahead of you. Now, you believe your success is the team success. If the team is growing, that means then only I believe that I am growing. So, if my team is not growing, so I always tell this, if my objective is to ensure that all the people who are working under me can buy a car, it obviously means that I will also buy a car. Because if I'm able to ensure that my team is able to buy a car and grow to that level, that means I will also grow to that level. That means I always put my team ahead of me rather than myself. That is something, there is nothing right and wrong. So somebody asked, I'll give you one more question. So I think you understood this 3, what kind of a player you are. You have to analyze that what type of player you are, then you know what type of networking you're supposed to do. So do you want only one type of networking where you give me the work, I do it and give it back to you? So that's called as an individual player. So you find out what type of a player you are. Have you seen some of them, they say combined studies, especially when you were studying. There are different types of combined studies. One is called as group player. So you know, so these group players, what they will do? They'll say, we'll do combined studies. You sit and study there, I'll sit and study here. But so still, because he is also sitting, I'm also sitting, I study well. Because that's called group. He is studying what he wants to study, I'm studying what I'm trying to study, but the fact is it's group player. Why? I prefer that you are there. May not be we are doing together. Team player is, I will teach you what you don't know, you teach me what I don't know. That's a team player. So I hope you understand each nature is different. Correct? I want you to put one more question to this. All these questions, if you start answering, you'll start getting to know what type of businesses I should choose, what type of employment I should go in, or what type of work I should do. To give you answers for yourself. Take down one more question, all related to what Prashanth is talking about. One more question I want you to write for yourself. Reena? How do I respond to criticism? How do I respond to criticism? Now, why is this important? I'll tell you. If somebody criticizes me, how will I respond is very important. I'll give you the 4 options, what will be the possible responses, so that you can put yourself into any one of them. Yeah? First response, defense. So my first response for a criticism will be defense. I will defend myself. Second response, offense. You know, we always say no, offense is the best form of defense. Very person. So offense, second. Depress, third. Depress. That means I go into depression. I go into depression. And the last one is constructive. Constructive is it is making me stronger. Now, is there something right and wrong in this? There is nothing right and wrong. I am not discussing any right and wrong here. I am just trying to tell you, find out in which category you are falling under. That will give you a direction what you need to do. Now, if somebody criticizes you, you're going to get into depression. You think you can actually fight any IT-AT matters or NCLT matters? Have you seen how the judge will talk to you? The way he'll speak to you, if I'm not prepared for the case, he'll ask, chartered accountant, copy of basa diya, he'll ask. Yeah, he will ask you questions which can depress you. So that means you are not fit for ITAT, you're not fit for NCLT, you're not fit for the job. Then don't take it up. Don't do that. Take one more question related to this. One more question for you. I prefer to lead or I prefer to be led. I prefer to lead or I prefer to be led. Now, ego may tell, ego will tell saying that I want to lead. What? I don't want to be led. That's ego. But that is not reality. I may prefer to be led. So just because I prefer to be led, does it mean I'm low? That does it mean no, Chichi, you prefer to be led? Sweethearts, Hanuman was the real hero of Ramayana and he always preferred to be led. Hanuman was led by Rama, but the true hero was always Hanuman in the entire process. Because Rama might have been the leader, but the fact is it was Hanuman who actually was looked at the hero who did everything for Rama. So therefore there's nothing wrong in being led. So I don't mind, let Rama be there to lead. I don't mind being led, but I at least know that I can give my best potential if I'm being led. Because Rama was there, Hanuman could see his real potential. Because there was a leader. Otherwise, Hanuman was just an ordinary monkey. Correct? But thanks to the leader he had, and he preferred to be led, in the process, Hanuman, who was led by God, became God himself. And we pray to Hanuman as God because he was led by a God. Nothing wrong to be led also. Nothing wrong at all. But what are you? What is your style? Do you prefer to lead? Or you prefer to be led is something you have to look into. So in all aspects, all these are related. Whatever I've given you, the questions are related to each other. Check yourself. What kind of a player you are? How do you respond to criticism? Then do you prefer to lead or to be led? It will give you answers at what kind of works you can take up. Please go ahead.
Networking would normally come in a situation where you're geographically scattered and you're able to provide services across the different locations as such. But when it comes to capacity building and also increasing capability of the firm, that is where mergers would certainly help. As I told, functionality wise, a professional might be doing only one, but mergers wise, it will certainly help because you are merging with others with other special knowledge as such. But the point is that is that the only way, or should we be a little bit more strategic here? Assume there is a well-known experienced firm that is already existing. When it comes to capability, you already have the capability. And the CA has been there for 35, 40 years of practice. But that firm is unaware of the current method of handling technology for work. Okay. But when it comes to you, you have a young firm, tech savvy, and for everything, you know how technology can be used to provide solutions as such. Now, you have to develop business to get the clients, but the other firm needs technology way of doing the work. Now, this is where synergy has to work. Now, these are the two firms which have to eventually merge so that using their strengths, both can grow very fast. And that is where not just networking, individual to individual with CA firms also would work. We may be thinking, okay, we should always network with a businessman. We should network with, some companies, go to BNI or, I mean, some methods people might have found out. I'm saying, have we networked enough with the fellow professionals itself? Then at least we would know what is the strength of each other and what is the weakness of each other, which we can fulfill for each other. That is where the merger would really make sense. Done? In the same way, in a different way, of course, the demerger, it may happen in a case where you need to de-risk certain activities of your firm. You might have done it. Or it may be for parting ways with, specific objectives for different groups. Why demerger is important? By doing demergers, the seniority of the firm is preserved. You may as well tell that I will resign there, I'll start a new one. No, the ICI itself prescribes a method wherein your seniority of your firm you can still retain because you are demerging the existing firm as such. For that also there is an option. Then of course we can see, can there be multidisciplinary firms as such? So it is not just accounting I do, tax I do consulting, I do payroll, I do company law. So can it be a multidisciplinary firm where all the services can be rendered under one roof? So this, from the practice side, when we do work within India, okay, this is something that we can keep in our mind. Next in the topic is in the international association. Very important, critical, but you have to be careful in this also because the entire association, the international association that you would do.
Do you want a coffee break?
I mean, I leave it to them.
Do you want a coffee break? All of you? If you want, we can take. So
I think we can take it later also. And maybe in this flow, close it also. Only 1 hour is there.
how much time will it take if you take a coffee break? And then now we have given them an incentive. Coffee jote madam ivatta answer 10 ನಿಮಿಷ na.
Okay.
10 minutes.
Then
So
no problem.
we will take now.
Yeah, we can take. So just for the statistics, probably the timing is too good. So one of my partners from Pune posted a slide. I mean, just some data, not a slide exactly. And it says as on 1st April 2012, the number of members we had was 1,92,500. 1st April 22, it is 3,50,400. So you can see the rate at which the number of space are growing in the country. But then that does not mean that the result percentage has improved. It is to do with, number of people who have taken exams have gone up. And naturally, the number of people who are doing CA, who have qualified also have become more and have enrolled for membership. There's who have enrolled for membership, not everyone. So we saw some of the functional aspects, what kind of clients you're supposed to have, or you can think of having, those kind of aspects. Next, let us see what kind of global opportunities do we have. So for global opportunities, international association is very good. But here, this international association, you have to do with a lot of care. Okay. So the only way you can do international association is exchange of the knowledge of your specialization with the other entity. There can be a cross referral, but you cannot pay a referral fee to the other guy. So in that case, what is the benefit I get? The benefit you get is, in case you refer somebody, there is a possibility, in case you assume somebody has work from Singapore to India. Sometime back you had referred him Singapore work because you had a Singapore client. In the same way, he can refer you an Indian client because there is a subsidiary company happening from a holding company in Singapore. But there cannot be a sharing of the fee because this is against the professional ethics, and this is there as part of the professional misconduct provisions of the Chartered Accountants Regulation Act. This part you have to be very careful. So this is the disclaimer on the back end. Okay, from that perspective, start listening to the International Association as such. So what is an association? It is not a firm of its own. It is only a group of people because it will help you to network with each other and grow your business as such. It cannot do work on its own because it is not a firm registered under any of these countries. So it's only a group of people. Each firm is a separate legal entity organized under the laws of the country in which it practices and is locally owned and managed. You are in India, locally owned and managed. You will go and become member of an international association where the presence of these firms are there across the globe as such. Member firms are not member or partners of any one entity, nor legal partners of each other, nor is any one firm responsible for services rendered by other firm. Clear? It's only an association. The coordinating entity is usually organized as an LLP or corporate entity, or in some countries it is formed as a trust also, and oversees the functioning of the entire network. So the network of the international association, if it has to function properly, there has to be a central office, right? So for the central office to function, there can be a membership fee. So there is no prohibition for you to pay a membership fee. But all sorts of prohibition is there, either for, say, profit sharing, referral fee, or any such arrangement as such. This you have to be careful about. Cost of coordinating the network is funded by the member firms. The network does not wish to make profits out of the member firms because cost to cost, if it serves the purpose, that is sufficient as such. So how do you identify a network? So you have to understand how many independent networks does association boasts. So it is something like, if there is an association and it says, we are part of 6 networks. We are part of 10 networks covering 75 countries. Somebody tells, we are a network ourselves and we are there in 120 countries. You know how you are relating. Is that sufficient? May not be. You may tell that I am in 6 countries, all the 6 countries are in Africa. Not sure if you are interested to do work with African countries at all. So you have to look at what functionality is required. in the other countries and what kind of service you can provide. And you can also see in that geographical area, you find your opportunity or you find your interest or not. From both perspectives, it has to be assessed as such. Of course, the fee sharing structure, as I told you, it is not allowed. Quality of members already present. What quality control measure does the association insist from its members? What quality control measures must be there? See, it is something like, finally, it is about the name, the brand, right? So if there is a network of firms which is functioning very well, the possibility is that the entire member firms use similar kind of stationery, similar kind of reporting in internal audit. For example, statutory may be different. There may be a particular format to tell that, okay, in all the internal audits that you are doing, are you giving the impact of your report? What is the impact in terms of qualitative, quantitative? Is the client able to perceive the value, what you have told him? So the report format itself may be standardized across the globe. Now imagine you as an individual sitting in one corner in Hanumant Nagar, you are doing a reporting. You tend to join one of the international association. Before and after, you can clearly make a demarcation. Because I'm not telling they're international, they're good. Not that. It comes with multiple countries, multiple professionals, expertise based on which a format has been created. So they would know, okay, these kind of reports, if you show like this is how the client would get impacted. So it is not about just referral. I'm getting a client, so I'm part of a network. Look at the kind of standard that you have grown yourselves into an international firm just in the first year of your association with an international network as such. Right? You may say that, okay, do you mean to say I can become part of it? May not be. The reason is because you are an individual doing a sole proprietor business. There would be certain criteria to become member of that association as such. They would see the turnover criteria. They will see the number of chartered accountants in your firm. They'll see the number of partners that you have in the firm. So based on that, of course, the functionality and how well are you known in the outside practice world in your area of business as such. So all these considerations are studied based on which they would be inclined to make you as a member to the association. Otherwise, anybody and everybody would not be able to go and become a member of an association as such. So that being the case, you may say that as a sole proprietor, you have demotivated me. Actually, it is not, because these are the reasons which should promote the need for growing into bigger firms. So you should not take it as a negative thing. You have to take it as a positive thing, and you have to find out how will you find out the like-minded people so that you can work together and grow to be a larger firm. I'm not telling it is wrong to be a sole proprietor. It is good to be a sole proprietor as long as you are happy about it. But you have very big dreams and intention to do work for some very large corporates, but you would like to do it as an individual. You have to be phenomenally big in terms of your name in the industry, in the specialization that you are. Then, of course, the biggest of the companies would come to us. But if that is not so, what works is purely collaboration and synergy. This part we have to accept. If we have that acceptance, you will not feel bad in collaborating with others or joining more people and forming bigger firms as such. This is a change that has to happen in the thought process. This is a thought process.
I think it's a very important point Prashanth is trying to make as to what we are. So in our nature itself, what kind of goals we have. So we always say that we have 3 types of goals, and that will define our nature. So if you can put that, 3 types of goals are there, so that I'll tell you, you can decide in which category you belong to, and that will help you to grow in the goal level also. So we say there are 3 types of goals. First is called as limitation goals. Now what is this limitation goals? Limitation goals is, I have set my own limitations. Hey Chichi, avella doddorge, that all high level things only they're talking about, that's not for me. So we have our own limitations set. It's called as limitation goals. It's like how we say that it is raining and I stand in the rain with a spoon, how much water will I get? Spoonful only, no, is what I'll get. So is it the fault of the rain that I got only spoonful? So it's a limitation goal. I set a limitation saying that this is what I can get from the rain. You stand in the rain with a tumbler, you'll get a tumbler full of water. That is again my limitation only, because somebody else is standing with a bucket and he's getting bucket full of water. And even better, somebody dug a pond and is getting a pond full of water, and somebody even better, he created a lake and is getting a lake full of water. The water was the same, rains were the same. What was the limitation goals we have set? So we are very famous for limitation goals, especially in our profession. I am not trying to blame you. I'm telling we are all like that, all of us. Why we are all like that? Because we have grown like that. Because our full-time job is what? Audit. Audit means what? Doubt. Doubt means what? Skeptical about everything. Skeptical means what? We have to ensure that we are not optimistic in even our reporting. We have to be pessimistic, create provisions, create a provision for this, create one note for that also, create one qualification for this. So nothing wrong. I'm not trying to criticize what, this is how the nature is. But the problem is we are mixing the kind of work we do with our own mentality. So we have made our mentality also like this, only equivalent to the work. That is not correct, right? If you are a surgeon, when you walk out of the hospital and when you see somebody, you will not start analyzing, so many veins, so many arteries are going like this. Then that is not how you analyze a person. You still look at him as a person only, isn't it? So that is where our mindset should change. Work, what we do, is different from how we are supposed to be. So the first goal we normally land up with is limitation goals. So if whatever Prashanth is telling us to make a difference, we have to change from that limitation goals. So start seeing yourself, the kind of goals what you're putting, is it a limitation goal? Wherein two things will happen in limitation goals. One, I've set my own limitations that this all I can do. I don't want to do anything more. Second, I'll tell you what happens in limitation goals. I tried, I failed. You go and ask to somebody, hey, it seems Prashanth was telling some networking and all, yeah, well, try work agala, waste. So this is like telling, I started to run, I fell down. Hey, don't run only. Lifelong I will not run. That we didn't do, no. We ran, we fell down, we got up, again we ran, no. We didn't stop running just because we fell down. So same thing here also, don't create limitation goals. Let's just check whether what kind of goals we have. Is it a limitation goal? First. Second type of goal, reaction goals. It's called as a reaction goal. There are three types of goals. It's all related to what we are discussing here. I hope you are understanding how we are sharing it, right? He is telling you about what all are there. I am telling you about how you should be prepared for all that. I hope you understood how the jugalbandi is happening between us, right? Okay, right. So the second one is called as a reaction goal. What is this reaction goal? Very popular terminology today, FOMO, F-O-M-O, fear of missing out. You must have heard of this, very popular word, fear of missing out. It's called as FOMO. It's called as reaction goals. The kind of goals we set is, it's a reaction goal because there is a fear of missing out. Everybody is doing, I should also do it. Everybody is doing, I need not do it. For example, when we have to do incorporation, right? We will say, oh, for incorporation, I'll charge you 50,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees. You check in the website, somebody would have put incorporation, 2,000 rupees, I'll do it. It is there. They'll say, for 2,000 rupees, I'll do incorporation for you. So just because somebody has put there for 2,000, I'll do incorporation, will you go into FOMO? Fear of missing out? FOMO, fear of missing out. They're doing for 2,000, let me also, I'll have 1,500. That's a rat race. So don't get into the rat race, because this is something which will always pull us down. It's called reaction goals. I see somebody else who is doing the same. XBRL, when we started XBRL services, 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakhs fees. Today, 2,000 rupees, we'll do it if you want. 3,000 rupees, that is how we are there. So will you now start falling off, telling, oh, we're doing it for that level, so I will also do. You will not. That's called as a reaction goal. So never set reaction goals. Your client will do it. That's called as a reaction goal. Don't get into reaction goals. Third type of goal is called aspirational goals. Aspirational goals. Now, this is the third type of goal. First, limitation goals. Second, reaction goals. And the third, aspirational goals. Now, what is this aspirational goals? I don't care about how others are doing. I am not going to follow what they are doing. I will create my own identity in what I am doing. So what do you mean by I will create my own identity in what I am doing? Like in the break, sir was telling, saying that he specializes in milk cooperative societies. Only milk cooperative societies, nothing else. Look at that. What a super specialization it is. It is not simply cooperative societies. In that we're talking about milk cooperative societies. Now that's a specialization. Correct? Now that means you have set one aspirational goal that I will look into a very unique activity which others are not looking into at all. So where there is no problem about the fear, saying that, oh, others are doing like this, then how will people continue with you is based on the fact that your aspirational goal that you will be unique in what you're providing. And that is where when Prashanth was telling you, if you have actually observed in some of the words what he used, Prashanth used some words telling, you gave an audit report, but what was the impact of that audit report, he said. That means what? That means did you create a value addition to the client? In fact, in one of the schools, because this is something I was telling the chairman also, that in school, if you see, you talk to the school kids, you ask them what subjects you have in school. Maths, physics, chemistry, some social studies, English, then second language, third language, things like that are there. They don't have accountancy, taxation, nothing is there in school. So none of them know about commerce only. Nobody knows about commerce. They don't even know what is commerce. Only some of these ICSE students they have because they have commerce as a subject. Otherwise, they don't even know what is commerce. And you suddenly tell them after 10th standard come to CA. No, what CA? I've never heard of it in school. In my lifetime, I've not heard of what is this CA subjects. So one kid asked me, what is this commerce and all we're telling? I've never heard of this. 10th standard kid, actually kid 16 years. The 10th standard kid asking, what is this commerce and all nonsense? So then I told, okay, you tell me what all you know. After what all you can become after 10th. He said, engineer. I said, good. Then what else? Doctor. Because that's what the kids know. They know engineer, they know doctor, because they only know those fields, isn't it? IIT JE, very famous. Every newspaper tells tuition. IIT JE, coaching. Yeah, then NEET exams for NEET preparations, CAT, CET exams. This is what you'll find. Everybody preparing for this, right? So I told, okay, you will become engineer and do what? And do what? Who will give you money? You become engineer, correct? Who will give you money? Businessman. But are you studying business in your school? No. You become doctor. Who will give you fees? Businessman. But are you studying business in your school? No. You want to become a software programmer. Who will give you money? Businessman. But have you studied business? No. The only one who studies business is we, our profession. And I'll tell you where we are losing out. Where we are losing out is, we are getting so much involved into this report I have to give, I gave this report. This filing I should do, I did this filing. This certification I was supposed to do, I did this certification. We have lost it. We are the ones who are supposed to be actually helping a businessman improve his business. Now we have lost that. We are not doing that at all. So get back to this aspect of aspirational goals, that you will create something unique, wherein you're going to give a value addition to your client. Now then you'll understand networking becomes important, because how will I give something better than what others are giving? Now once I'm part of somewhere and I learn some things which I can actually implement, then I think that is good for me, that I'm giving something more than just giving a report to somebody. So let's not get into limitation goals, reaction goals. I think we have to start moving towards aspirational goals. So start creating that, and that can make a difference. Specialization. So it is so nice to see one of our friends here doing specialization, all to do with the consortium of banks when they give the loans. How do you administer and monitor whether the loans are being correctly utilized? Specialization activity. Fantastic specialization activity. But then what is your value addition? Are you only giving a report because the banker, that lead manager asked you, the lead banker asked you for it and you're giving the report? Or are you giving a value addition to your client also, for whom you're getting the fees, telling, I will tell you where you can ensure that there is a 3% change in these rates. Because for somebody who's getting 500 crores loan, you make a 0.3% change also, it will make a world of difference to him. Now, can you do that? For that, you need technology. Because you can't sit and say, I will check 10,000 entries. You can't check 10,000 entries. You need technology leverage. So what are you doing for technology leverage? From where will you get that? Take the help. And that is where you're talking about your mergers. That is why you're talking about, that's what even Prashanth referred to. He told you, you are good in technology. Somebody is good in the subject, then why don't you merge them together? Or you are good in this subject, but somebody has the technology, why don't you merge it? That is where you're trying to create a value addition to get. From now on, start thinking, you don't have to reduce your fees just because somebody has reduced it. You don't reduce your fees. You try to improve the quality of what you are trying to provide. That can make the world of difference to you. Don't get into the rat race. You see, how am I different from others? If you are not different from another chartered accountant, then there's nothing wrong in reducing the fees, because I think you're providing same service. You go to a doctor for an injection, if the injection cost, the only injection kuch nahi kiya, then what is the difference whether a 50 rupees doctor or a 500 rupees doctor? It's an injection, hai na? But imagine the doctor also tells you, saying that before the injection what you should do, after the injection what you should do, how I want you to observe yourself about how it's going to react to your body, then come back to me, I'll tell you what you can do extra. Or then it's worth going to the doctor, paying that extra money to him, because he's worried about me, not just giving one injection like a corporation office, isn't it? And that's something you have to take care. Don't get into the rat race. Start seeing where you can add a value to it. And for all that, all this what he's talking about will make a difference. Please continue. Thank you.
So in the network, when you are identifying, one more component is the range of services. What are the range of services the association provides, and what kind of specialized services that are in? Assume that you are a transfer pricing expert. You have studied some network that is there, you want to be part of it. In that network, there is no international tax committee at all. You are thinking that, okay, by being part of it, you will get work. Or maybe you will grow your knowledge, whatever objective. But actually in that network, there is no transfer, international tax at all. Then how are you doing it? So the kind of service that you do and what the network is doing has to be in sync. What steps you need to take to become a member? This is how normally the memberships are allowed in association. One firm, one state policy, or city for that matter. So in case you are in Bangalore, the network has taken you on board. They will ensure there would be nobody else from Bangalore who would be taken as a part of the network. This is a principle that is followed across the networks as such. Check for local presence. Talk to a local member, get a review of the association. So in case somebody is already part of, say, Hyderabad, and that network you're going to join, good, you go and meet him once. Understand how it is working for you. Is it worthwhile? And in what way did it help you in your profession? Or just for being a professional, how did it help you? Infrastructure. So in case you become member, what happens to your infrastructure? Because there would be certain criteria based on the technology infrastructure that you keep in your office as well. It is not just technology, it is about various other infrastructures. Infrastructures, I would mean to say even support systems. For example, for your firm, do you have an accounting team? Do you have a HR team? Right? Do you have an administration team? Do you have a technology team? So clearly it shows the owner is concentrating on the profession. The rest of the support services, there are specialist teams to handle. Okay, this kind of focused firm is what I want to work with. Is the objective of the association? Are you meeting that criteria? Be open for an inspection, but sign non-disclosure agreement, because none of the associations would just like that give a membership. They would certainly come, do their due diligence. They would like to understand the books. They would like to make sure, okay, there are no untoward expenses that is incurred. It is a clean organization. They want to make sure of everything. So expect that. Write to the secretariat. That is the secretariat of the association. You can write and then you can invite them telling that, okay, I'm prepared for this. Can we do it? So these are the steps for you to become the member of an association as such. So there are several forum of firms. Membership in the forum is open to networks and firms of all sizes that conduct or have an interest in conducting transnational audits, promote the consistent application of high quality audit practices and standards worldwide. Look at the objective they carry. So the business comes second. Once you define your objective itself to be so exemplary, now you tell me why an international company would not come to you for an audit. For example, something like, say, a banking company may have its presence in 80 countries. Okay. They want the audit of all those entities in 80 countries to be conducted. Imagine they pick up 80 different firms and give them the audit. They will get 80 different styles of audit reports, different formats, which they will never be able to use it because they can't consolidate it. Assume you are part of one network. Bangalore unit comes to you. There is a set questions based on which you are supposed to give the report. Put this number in this cell. Finished. It is very simple report, nothing complex, right? Advantage is very high. There is no technical knowledge here, right? It's only few questions being answered and you have to put one number in one cell. This is your job. But this happens in a standardized manner for 80 countries. Now, look at selecting specialized, technically advanced firm and then giving his job with an array of reports which you can never consolidate, but giving it to one network which gives you what you want. You tell me which network or the firms the international company would choose. So naturally, that is where the networks gain to the disadvantage of others. To name a few, I've just put some international networks. You can visit these websites, learn about them. And for any details, you can contact them, you can email to them, they will respond to you. I mean, all names are there, I've just put here. It is there in the presentation as such, so you can still download it. Some of the international networks. ASNAF, I know very well, it is Asian accounting firms, specializes in companies who have presence in Southeast Asia. That is the strength of the network. Prime Global is there across the world, IAPA across the world. Rest of it, maybe I don't know all, but I would still know at least 3 or 4 as them. Okay. In order to be part of the network, we have to see how ready are we. Can we see some questions?
So let's take a few questions from here to see if we have to grow to that level, how ready are we? First one, do you have internal quality control procedures?
They need not write, maybe yes or no is enough.
Yeah, this is for you to only think about it. So yeah, whatever you want to write, they can write, it's okay. It's for you. Just for you to think about it. So do you have an internal control procedures for yourself? If you can create it for your own.
Internal quality control.
1 to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you say internal quality control, what do you mean by an internal quality control? Tomorrow, if somebody wants to put you into a network, they will not take you unless you have a good systems within yourself. Now, if you belong to an entity wherein you say everything chalega, last minute mein kuch accounting kar lega, it will not work. Because when you are talking, that is called individual player then you just want to work on your own style and you don't want to get into groups, you don't want to get into teams, that's what it means. Then that is not for them. So this is a situation wherein do you have an internal quality control procedure for yourself? I'm not talking about you creating it for your client. I'm talking about in your own office, do you have it? In the kind of work you do you have it? That means tomorrow if I come as a peer reviewer into your organization, do you have all this is what I'm trying to ask you. Do you understand? So when you're talking about your own practices, when your own offices, do you have it with yourself? So when I come and check what you're doing, can I get an answer for this is what you have to check first.
So for example, I'm doing tax computation of a company. I've completed the work. I'll just attach it to a mail, send it to the client. Or can I first send it to say QC head, Raja is a QC head. I'll send it to him. He'll put his review points I'll go through that, make those small changes that are required, and then send it out to the client.
Exactly. So within the own organization, do you have somebody who will overlook at what you're doing? Because what happens is we live with what is called as preconceived bias. What's a preconceived bias? If I have done it, I can't find mistakes in what I have done. I can never find out mistakes of what, because I have done it, right? So how will I find out mistakes? Only when I give it to somebody, they look at it, then they get, hey, you didn't miss that. Yeah, how did I miss that? So you need to have somebody else who can. That's what Prashanth is telling. If Prashanth would have done it, if he checks it himself, he will not find any mistake in that, because there's a preconceived bias there. But if he gives it to me, then I look at it differently. Similarly, when I do something, I feel everything is okay, but I give it to Prashanth, he says, you missed this. He says, yeah, how did I miss this? So it's always good you have your own quality control procedures within. So see, that need not be that for that you have to appoint somebody. Correct? You have enough of your friends. Call one of your friends and say, oh, check one of my records and see, tell me, how am I doing? Ask him to check. No, he is more than happy to do it for you. You have enough friends with you. Ask one of them to do it for you, then do it for you. To start with. Then you start thinking, how do I create foolproof systems in the organization? Next.
Are partners of firm ultimately responsible for QC process?
You can go ahead, tell
So the point is, when it comes to the QC process itself, as chartered accountants, we insist, as auditors, we insist our clients, is the maker checker same? Okay, job done by one person. How is it getting screened by somebody else in the organization? That is to ensure what deliverables goes to the customer or the client, is it right? Right? So QC process is in existence, but who will take the ownership? For example, there is a method in which the QC has to happen. Continuously it is happening. Okay, tax computation has to be checked and somebody is checking it. Now in the current year or few years back, they introduced Ind AS adjustments. When Ind AS adjustments happened, there were adjustments to the profit and loss account, which had some adjustments above the line, some below the line. Now, in the QC process, if partner is the owner, he would have made amends to the QC process to ensure that this aspect has been taken care from the current year onwards. So our partners of firm ultimately responsible for the QC process. They will ask this. These are not the basic questions that I have created. These are the questions I have answered. So you can know these are the questions that exactly comes from the international associations. Is communication of independence formalized? So how independent is the communication? Is that formalized? Formalized in the sense there is a written instruction in the organization telling that, okay, this is how freely you can communicate within the organization. Of course, this is the process you have to follow. In the email also, salutation should be like this. Introduction should be like this. Explanation cannot be more than one paragraph. Conclusion, 2-3 lines. Is it brief? Where it is required, have you given sufficient annexure to make it detailed? How are you closing with a salutation? These are restrictions. What is freedom? What you would like to communicate? Is that freedom there in the organization or no? Do you have a history of disengagement on independence or conflict of interest? So this question, in fact, necessitated us to roll out a survey within the organization to make sure none of the people are engaged in the work that they do in which they foresee there is a conflict. So the conflict may be in terms of the relationship between the person and doing the work, or within the firm itself, the kind of work you're doing. Obviously, you cannot do ETBS returns and then do the stat audit. Not possible. So do you have a history of disengagement because of this? They're trying to take, are you seeing the caution here? They're trying to say, okay, are you doing everything legally? That question is framed like this. Are the firm's ethical governance practices documented? Have you told that irrespective of whatever is the pressure that comes, we will not get involved with any graft whatsoever with any department or government organizations? Written law? Yes, everybody have signed. Is technology used in the firm and is there consciousness of its local brand? So the point is, it should not be that for the sake of the technology is in there. You have to see what is the need and match it with that. That is important. It involves costs. Are you ready to pay the membership fees? Because membership fee is in GBP, USD. Extra time. Are you ready to commit your time in addition to the daily routine? Because when you're doing this, not that straight away you just join the membership and kept quiet. You have to somehow engage with the network associates through emails or through calls or through general LinkedIn's. Even LinkedIn post, how you read, how you respond, will show what kind of relationship you share with the network as such. Are you participating in the events they do, the conferences, etc.? Are you ready for the travel? It may involve national or international travel, obviously. Many are telling, yeah. That part, many are happy to do it. How quickly can you reply to queries? Do you have a plan? For example, anybody sends a mail, they will ask, what is your response time? Can you tell me there is a complex income tax problem under section 115 JB after insertion of Ind AS adjustments, and you're supposed to give clarity on the tax computation where precedence is not there. Okay. Now, an email with this complexity comes to you. Now you have opened it, right? What is your estimated time of response? Can you tell me? I'm not defining how complex it is. It is to your assumption. It is to your estimate. Based on that, you tell me the timeline. What is your response time? Any of you can tell. Tell a number. What is your response time? Tell a number. It's okay. 2 to 3 days. 1 or 2 days. Amazing. Probably a week. Amazing. All answers are wrong. Because response has to be immediate. I didn't tell you should provide a solution. Response has to be at that second. For example, if you are not focused, you got a mail. There is nothing wrong in replying to it right now. The point is response. For response, they demand 24 hours. Do you think 24 hours we can't respond to a mail? We have to tell, yes, we have received your mail, first sentence. We understand this is the complexity you're facing. This will take 2 days time to give the solution. Because there is no precedence on this, we have to do a research on this. Our proposal would be like this. Hourly rate, fixed fee, whatever it is. Send out the mail. Can you tell me the response time now? It is the next 5 minutes. I understand. You may tell that I'm not in front of the email always. Exactly. That is why 24 hours they give. These things look very, very tiny, but those are the ones which play a major role when you become part of an international association. Leave international association, come to domestic. Look at a scenario, you get a mail from the client domestic and you send a response like this. He'll be delighted because he has seen many professionals who have got the emails. They have not even told, I've got the mail. So what is required? So response is different from solution. This basic difference should be there in the brain. Many times I feel people see something complex, they get feared to respond. It is psychology. But I'm saying is, I can work on it. We will give our best. We'll get back to you. Simple. Even if it is impossible to do. I'm telling these 3 sentences you can write. Response is done. And response, I'll tell you, will win the claims. Because the other person is feeling you are responding to him means you have given a cognizance that the other guy is alive. You're giving him importance because you are responding to him. So this much is involved only in response. So you have to be very careful in this. May require initiatives to contribute to the network. Are you open to it? For example, you are a tech savvy person. Right now, if you look at the network, they are facing a lot of technology challenges because many of the firms who are part of the network were age-old firms where computers itself was not there when they were formed, and they could not scale up themselves or the grade to the next level in technology. So all of them need help. Now you have become part of the network. When you are part of the network, you have to take certain responsibilities. Can you take technology responsibility because you are good at that? Can you take transfer pricing responsibility because you're good at that? Can you take reporting formats for internal audit? You're good at that. So what can you do for the network? Clearly shows your involvement in the international association that arouses more interest for the international association in your firm because you're contributing to that. So the next referral that comes to the secretariat, who is the person they have to go, they'll come to, it is you because you are responding more for the requirements of the network as such. Spock, can you be the one? The single point of contact. Let any problem come, whether it is audit, accounting, tax, corporate law, anything. It has to stop at me. It should not go to anybody else because too many people talking to the clients, they get confused. They will not know whom they are talking to. So if it is a single point of contact, I should be the shield between the client and the rest of the people in the firm so that I become just information passing equipment between them, but very well aware what is going on, not doing it blindly, very well aware what is going on. That kind of a Spock do you have as a ability in the firm? May not generate any business for a few years. Are you okay with it? Punctuality, would you be able to respond to queries in time? Are you ready to adopt an international culture for better, which may require changes in the current procedure? This is little challenging. You're telling international culture. So when it comes to international culture, it does not always mean about the dressing or the food. It more means from the professional attributes, whether it is communication or the response or scaling up or sharing the knowledge, those kind of attributes. Of course, dressing makes a difference, but fine if it is in moderation, not a very big issue. Are the employees and other members happy with the association? Are you okay with monitoring of policies and internal framework? Because all this are happening, you must be able to monitor the entire internal framework as such. So these were some of the questions that they had to ask. Are you ready for being part of an international association as such?
For you to take it as an action plan, I'll give you 4 points what I want you to do going forward from now. Okay, so you can call this as 4 aspects of growth. Yeah, we can call it as the 4 aspects of growth. The first aspect is called ability to anticipate. The first one is called ability to anticipate. Now, when I say ability to anticipate, if I know how to anticipate, I will anticipate. If I don't know how to anticipate, I will learn it from others. Like now how Prashanth has told, with this you learn. Okay, looks like I should be ready for all this. So tomorrow anybody can come and ask me these questions, isn't it? Anybody can come and ask. So therefore, you may not anticipate yourself, but you have taken help. Such a beautiful statement. Ratan Tata once told that I love to fly the plane. You know, Ratan Tata loves flying a plane. So he said, I love to fly the plane, but I'll always want an ATC to help me. That is the air traffic controller. If you have seen, there's an air traffic controller. Otherwise, I hope you know in the air there is no traffic light. One aeroplane is coming, you're going, hey, side. There you cannot say, hey, side. You can't do that, correct? So I love to fly the plane, but I still need a ATC. So therefore, when I say ability to anticipate, I will do everything, but I will still have to take help from others. And this is how you're getting the help. You're getting the help, okay, well, what all I need to do. So you talk to people, you find out, or you attend sessions like this, you get to know, okay, how all I'm under-equipped, what all I need to do. So the first one is ability to anticipate. In that you talk about you can take help. You understand? When I say ability to anticipate, either myself or I take help. So you can write that as the first one. Ability to anticipate and take help is the first one. Second, create support systems. Second one is called create support systems. Now this is something we always miss on. We are not willing to create a support system. Have you seen in software industry, they all talk about one word called bench strength? You heard of this word, right? We all talk about a bench strength. That means they're okay to create a support system saying that even if they are there, but you know how we are. For us, even if we think about a little bit of some expansion, first we'll tell cost. One more person, one more cost, extra expenditure. So anything, when we talk about technology, we want to add technology or cost is involved. So should I really spend about it? So that's what we create. So talking about creating a support system. Now the way you create a support system should be in such a way that you know today it may not reap you results. That's what he was talking about, saying that you may not generate any business at all. So what? It may not generate any business initially, but still you know over a period of time it will make sense to me. So you must always create a system. So when you're talking about creating systems, it need not be just people, it can be technology systems. So either one of them, either people should be there or you must have technologies with you which will keep supporting you in what you're doing. Otherwise we'll get outdated. Very soon we'll get outdated because somebody else with a better technology, he can outsmart you and give it to a better cost price also to somebody. And therefore we lose out on that. So you have to be ready to create those systems. So the second point, very important, to create support systems. So don't forget to do that. That is the second point. Point number 3. Very interesting point. Bias towards action. It's called bias towards action. What do you mean bias towards action? Very important this is. If you can actually use this. Gone are the days where qualification, in the beginning, they read out all my qualifications, ranks and all that. Adi avaglo black and white zamana types, right? So today's world doesn't care about your qualifications, what are your academics, performance. What matters to everybody is today? Performance, that's all. Nobody cares about your loyalty, your academic knowledge, qualification. It's all about performance. So when I said bias towards action, that is what he meant when you said, can you respond to a mail in the next 5 minutes? Nobody cares how great you are, what you have done. What is this response time? That means you make him feel important, saying that I'm there. Action is what matters. Bias towards action. First, you have to ensure you're there in acting on it. Now, in this bias towards action, I also want you to learn something more on this. That is in this execution speeds. When we talk about bias towards action, listen to this. You know what I mean by bias towards action? Act fast, fail fast, again act. But we are so much worried that I don't want to fail. Where if I fail? No, let me take. It's all right. Right? Like what he talked about. First you respond, tell. I may require time to do this. Then we will see, like he was saying that I may not even know the solution. Doesn't matter. So now what we do, I'll tell you. The way we respond is that we take it in different, I always used to say 5F. F is not some bad word. 5 F's are there when we talk about how we respond. Either we fight, or we flight, or we freeze. Fight, flight, andre the situation, or we freeze, or then the other two, we start focusing. The moment I see pressure, right? So when you come across, so how do you respond to pressure is very, very important. If you can put that somewhere, apart from what I'm telling you, called as how do I respond to a pressure situation? Fight, flight, freeze, and then the other two, focus, and the last one is I flower. That means that's when I bloom the best. Under pressure, if I learn to flower, because that is the role of our profession, we always work under pressure, whether we like it or not. So the moment I learn to respond to pressure with by flowering and blooming, sun is beating hard, sun is beating hard, and that is when the flower blossoms, right? That is when that sunflower turns towards, I think that means you're in the right professionals, because this is a profession which requires you to take such kind of situation. So that will just ensure this. So coming back to what I was telling you, first aspect was what? Ability to anticipate. Second aspect was creating a support system. Third aspect was bias towards action. And the last aspect, focus on the bigger picture. Focus on the bigger picture. Now, what do you mean focus on the bigger picture? None of us are actually thinking like a visionary, in the sense, is my goal only to make money? I'll be a failure. Is my goal only to make money? I'm going to be a failure. Is my goal that I'm going to create a value addition to a lot of other people? Incidentally, money will come. I'm not telling money is bad. This is not some Himalaya program saying that why you want money, come we'll go to Himalayas. No, we're not telling about that. This is not the program here. Definitely. But the point is, if we run behind money, it will never come. But that doesn't mean money is not important. I'm telling how we have to go behind this a bigger picture. If you have a bigger picture in mind saying that this is what I want to provide as a value addition, like we're talking about how can I look into business? Sir was talking about, we are not thinking like a businessman. Think like a businessman and say what benefit I can give to a business. Benefit means not by doing fraud. I'll tell you, under the table like that. That is not what we are talking about. We are talking about benefiting. Then that is only a temporary benefit, and that's not a permanent solution. We are only putting him to greater trouble. That's not a bigger picture at all, isn't it? So therefore, these four aspects, if you can take care of, therefore, even if you have failed at one stage, you're still looking at a bigger picture that there's something else. I talked about bench strength. That means bench strength is about looking at a bigger picture. So am I looking at a bigger picture saying that, okay, this is what I want to do? When you are working, if you feel for the first aspect, ability to anticipate, that is where we always tell, if I don't know how it has to be done, I will go and work in that place. I'll go and work in that place. There are 100 places he has worked before. He has worked many places. There are 100 places I have worked. And even now we don't mind, we'll go and work. Why? Because I want to. Because if I don't know how to anticipate, I will go work and get that skill of anticipating. So it doesn't matter. Like how we always tell, no, go and work there, then you learn the job. You learn the job better. So that's what we should do. Okay, I don't know how to improve technology. I'll work in an entity which is good in technology. I don't know how to do networking. I'll work in a place where they have this networking, so I learn at least. That's what they very nichely call it as sabbaticals types. I'm taking a sabbatical, I'll go work in somewhere and come back. Basically what you're trying to do, you're trying to expose yourself to a lot of other areas. So do that. What is wrong in that? In our span of 100 years of life, 6 months, 10 months, if you're there somewhere and you gain some experience and come back, good for you, no? It's always good. So nothing wrong in doing that. But the biggest mistake people do is, you know what they say? First, once I complete CA, kaas beka manange. So practice and all beda. Straight away and go into employment, monthly, kaas bandute. And after some 10-20 years, then I'll come to profession. Nobody will take you. Nobody will take you into profession. Nobody cares for you. No, I've got industry experience of 20 years. You keep it in industry. I don't want you to come back. So therefore, that kind of idea, telling that I will go to industry for a few years, then I will come back. No, but I want that kind of work. Then join a CA entity only, which is in a bigger scale, which they're also looking at bigger things. Then you join, then you're still part of practice. When you're still part of a CA entity only somewhere, then you're still part of practice only. So you're not lost that practice as such. Then it's okay. Not getting into some industry and then say I'll come back, that will not work. Clear? And I always tell when it comes to practice, it's a long-term game. Practice is always a long-term game. Unless we have the patience towards it, it cannot happen. Now you need to have a lot of patience, and most importantly, these four aspects. You have to keep looking into these four aspects what I've given you now, and then only you can start scaling up. Otherwise, we just stay where we have always stayed. So that will not help us at all. I'll just tell you what kind of businesses we can create. So I'll just tell you 4 types of businesses are there linked with this. So just add on to that. 4 types of businesses are there. If you want, you can make note. 4 types of businesses. You have to see which type of business you are in, right? Check for yourself what kind of business are you in. Business number 1, first one. It's called, it's a little bit rude, but it's okay. Lazy. It's called as a lazy business. Lazy business means what? Stagnant. That means I was like this, I am like this, I will be like this. Yeah, I was always like this, I'll always be like this only. That is called as lazy business. Basically, I am happy with what I am doing, Saku. Then all these things will not go anywhere because I'm happy with what I'm doing. This is like how we normally establish as a bureaucratic setup. This is how bureaucracy works. If this file to move, it will take so much time. It will always take so much time. That is called as lazy business. Second, so first one is called laziness. Okay. Second type of business is called busyness. Not business. B-U-S-Y. Busy. B-U-S-Y. Busy. It's called busyness. You know what this kind of a business, I think most of the younger entities are into busyness. Full busy. I am busy, this time illama, for there is no time for anything. Busy. Ultimately, what you do, but full busy. Full busy, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, extremely busy. Ultimately, where you're going, nobody knows. Have you seen that chaotic situation? Especially in marriages, some people are there, full busy. Tumba busy, hey, what happened to the nothing? Simply fully busy, you are so busy and ultimately directionless. What they are doing, God only knows. And most of the organizations are like this. Check once. I am telling you very seriously, go back and check, you will understand. You will start thinking, maybe I am under laziness. I don't want to do anything about that. This is what I was doing, I am here only. Yeah, 5% growth is there in my business. Inflation is 6%. 5% growth is negative growth, right? So therefore, laziness, first one, type of business. Second type of business is your busyness, fully busy, but absolutely chaotic, directionless. That is called busyness. Third type of business is called organized. Now, what is organized? That means you are focusing on creating systems, which I told you one of the aspects is to create a support system. So, organized means you will always create systems. Even though it is a small activity, you don't mind creating a system, even though it's a small. No, we are only 2 people in my office. Still, for the 2 people, you create a system. Because tomorrow, even if those 2 people are replaced with 2 more, system should work. That's what is important. So, we are now so much on person dependent. On bit of bit, if he leaves me and goes, I don't know what I should do. You should not be person dependent, you should become system dependent. That is why in audit we have learned so much. No, we have that checklist. Why did we create all that? So that it does not matter who the person is. If you tell him that these are the checklists you have to check, then you know. To that extent, you are much more safer in what you are doing. So we call that as a organized business. And the last one, which is the ultimate goal of all businesses, and that is called institutionalized. Institute and the Child Accountant Institute, that is also institute only. But if we say institutionalized, institute. Now, what do you mean? You create your business into institutionalization, meaning what? Whether we are there or we are not there, the legacy will go on forever. Legacy will continue. In fact, in that legacy, I think we have discussed this once when we were discussing. As young CA professionals, you have an amazing scope in this legacy creation. I'll tell you how. There are so many CA firms who don't have a legacy. Meaning, after them, there is nobody to succeed. Succession planning. Nobody to succeed. In fact, you have a golden opportunity. You can actually buy it up. How do you buy it up? Kaasa illa, baybare. No, you don't. That is not what I mean. Go join. That's what I said. If you want to anticipate that, go and work there. You be part of that, then tomorrow you are the successor of that entire business. You are the successor of the entire because anyway they don't have anybody else to succeed. And you have somebody now, you are there to ensure that legacy continues because they have not created a succession plan because most of the CA professions is not based on institutionalizations. We are not institutionalized. If as long as I am there, it works. If I am not there, everything will stop. And that's not how we have to create. If you see, all our businesses are like that only, We are there, it is working. If we are not there, nobody knows how it will work. No idea at all. Correct? That's the truth. Correct? Somebody else has to take and go, or it will get scattered. That is the truth. But we have not created a institutionalization. These are the 4 types of businesses, and we always start with laziness, busyness, organized, and then we are talking about institutionalized. See where you are, and you have to start seeing as to how you can go to the next level. And that's when you take, by working into those respective places. I am lazy, sir, busy. From busy, I want to go into organized. Then start working in a few organized entities. You start learning how they are organized. And that's how you actually start gaining all their expertise. Please go ahead.
International players as such, there are certain websites like this where they would put the firms on sale.
Look at that.
And
Firms
there are
are sale.
firms to buy.
Who are the sellers? Who are the buyers?
So I'm not saying you'll go and buy or sell here. I'm saying this is how the profession works elsewhere.
This is not in India.
The buyers and the sellers, the pages for them. And this is the website. It's accounting broker.
Can you imagine? In the other, because we're talking about global opportunities, right? You want to go and settle down in some other country, you can actually go and buy somewhere. And it is there. You have a accounting broker wherein they'll tell you which all firms are available for sale. Wherein you can go and buy it up there. Right? And you can start. If you're willing to buy it up, take it and buy. Start it. It's available.
So coming back to mergers, there are very interesting mergers. While we are looking at synergy as the sole criteria, there are various types of mergers that is going on. So in few prominent cities, we'll see visiting card mergers. So it is something like we are there in 5 parts of the same city in 5 different areas. All of us will print alike looking visiting card. So that is one kind of a merger. There is empanelment merger. There are mergers where people get together only to get empaneled in CAG plus, say, banks or something like that. I'm saying there is synergy here. There's no synergy at all here. My firm plus your firm, India firm and local firm is different. Overhead mergers, like a polyclinic. So it is something like we have to go for a bigger space, the cost is high, let us share it, and so we become merged. So these are not taking us anywhere near to the synergy. So I'm saying the objective has to be clear as to why there should be a merger. It should not be some alternate to the profession that we are trying to discuss here. So there are several things that you should do to get into merger or network. Few things we can see here is I think we have discussed also process, informal friendship, study groups, toe in water approach. What is toe in water approach? You feel that, okay, this firm is good for me, we can merge. Next day, don't get merged. It is like you saw the girl, engagement, next day marriage. No. That is why normally they give that 3 months, 6 months period and tell that month is good for marriage. Same thing applies for mergers also. So in toe in water approach, it means to say, okay, we are planning to get merged. Let us do this assignment together. Then you would know when people go for audit, whether he'll give double side conveyance or not. Whether this is a confused guy or a prompt guy. Okay, what sort of technical knowledge he has? Or how does he approach a work? Is he looking at building the standards every time he goes up? So is he actually looking at, scaling up his business? So all this aspect comes into picture. When you do this toe in water approach, you will know everything about the person. After that, you will tell divorce before marriage. You did not, you're not suitable to me, so I divorced before marriage. Referral practice.
No, divorce does happen before marriage because if dictionary D comes first, then only M will come. So it's possible. So that
even that is taken care. Even that is taken care. Referral practice. Initially start with referral practice and then go for formal network. Okay. Have merger of the firms. So whatever you are trying to do to come together and grow the business, have that step-by-step process. Do not immediately come to a conclusion as such. I think few things are self-explanatory, so I'm not taking too much time for that. Value proposition, good timing, vision. Can we create vision? Success, profit sharing ratios. How do you share liabilities? Client references. From where do you source the clients? So there has to be some sort of a mutual exchange. One is very good in knowledge, another is very good in getting the client. That is where you will find knowledge. Both the people are, very smart, intelligent experts in international tax. They'll keep doing transfer pricing document of only one company because nobody is there to do business development. So always look out for that synergy gap. So earlier we posed questions on international network. These are questions for the merger. Almost similar. Post merger, a partner can become a manager. Scary. Scary. If it is a very large firm that is getting merged, if not a manager, at least they may say that, okay, these are two junior partners. We don't want them to be partners. Let them be directors. We'll see their performance for 2 years and then let them be partners. I mean, these are the situations you would face. Me or is it the organization? Which is more important to you? Think over. Are you willing to come out of the comfort zone and fight it out? Work-life balance or life-work balance? Don't know. Capital for merger, do you have it? Or get a partner who has money? My freedom, I don't want anyone to enter. Everything is mine. Yeah, how will you do merger? You need to report to someone. Is that so? After merger, you are open for that? Can we start from ground zero? I was doing income tax all the while, and I was doing certification. From tomorrow, once the merger happens, there is somebody who is able to do my work. From tomorrow morning, I must be able to represent in the department. Ground zero. Ready for it? Travel around 6 to 8 days or more in a month. Agree? Disagree? Because you are expanding. Expanding does not mean that, the job will get over as it is. There is a firefighting going on, you'll run. That's about it. Sentiments about the existing firm. I built this firm for the past 3 years. How can I let it go? Society, would you feel difficult to face as you got sucked in? So society is telling, you were king in your own firm, yeah? No, what happened? Existing fun will go because you become serious for work. Adopt new culture. Are you ready? Or change the culture of the other firm. What does the family say? Are they supportive of your decision? Everything matters. I don't think we have to leave the family behind. Are you open to criticism, constructive or destructive? Would you like to be policy driven? Earlier, it was your choice. Now it is written. I get success myself, or should I call it team success and join? I like it is my success, or should I tell, okay, all of us did it together? Are you hungry for more work, exposure, and more knowledge? Merger is there for you.
Yeah, I think similar.
We'll conclude with the questions. Yeah, I think this they can read. You can add.
Yeah, I think we can conclude.
Okay.
With this. Time aitalva? Time aitalva? Alva?
Yeah, it's 8:06.
Then konde. Huh? Aye, that's good. That's the spirit. Yeah. I just want you to put two things just to conclude. Okay. One is I want you to write, how energetic am I? Just put that for yourself. How energetic am I? So what do you mean by how energetic am I? You can get your answer like when you go and meet somebody, do they also feel energized when they talk to you? Or do they feel when they look at you, hey, you look always so energetic? You always look all the time full fit. So how energetic are you? You have to answer that for yourself. Now, why is that required? Because without that, there is nothing we can do further. If I am not energetic myself, now of course, you will ask next question, how to get energy? Tamma tindo, right? Yeah, right. So are you energetic? That is one question you need to answer. How energetic are you? Very important. This is something which always people keep asking me, saying that you are always like this. 20 years ago I've seen you, 30 years ago I've seen you. Some of them have been my students 25, 30 years back. And they say you're still like this only. Yeah, what is the secret of your energy? I mean, it's not like some boost to Horlicks. That will not give you, right? So you need to check how energetic are you, what's your energy levels. Without that energy levels, no, you can't pass it on to the organization. Organization can never grow if you yourself are not energetic. If you are lazy yourself, there's nothing that can happen, right? So how energetic are you? Check for yourself. If you want, I can give you some tips on how to improve your energies and things like that, but keep that aside. One more other aspect is accept we live in a VUCA world. We call it as a VUCA world, V-U-C-A. This is popular across the world. Everybody uses this terminology called VUCA world. So we belong to a VUCA world, V-U-C-A. So what's a VUCA world? Volatile. The world is extremely volatile. You don't know when what is changing. Nobody expected COVID. Nobody expected what will happen post-COVID. Next, what our friendly neighborhood will do, we don't know. Still, something and all is happening there, correct? What else they will do, we don't know. It's a VUCA world. V, volatility. U, uncertainty. Now, whatever plans we are talking about, whatever you try to do, there will be uncertainty. So you have to accept that it will be uncertain. We should be ready for it, saying that there will be a lot of uncertainties. As it is, things have never gone according to what we thought. We have seen ourselves in the last so many years ready for uncertainty. So C, chaos. What is chaos here? Too many things are happening. Can you see so many things? Just observe and see, how many years it took for us to get one telephone. When I was a kid, we used to apply for a telephone and it used to be 8 years waiting period to get one BSNL phone first. And in the field road, one fellow will have. We used to give his number only. PP number anta. Yeah, we used to give his number and say, hey, want to bande anta. That's how it used to be. Now, can you see the speed at which things have changed? iPhone started. By the time you blink your eyes, iPhone 13. iPhone, we don't know from where. First we had one iPhone, it stopped there. See the speed at things how are changing now. Before you can think about it, there is full of chaos. Too many things happening at a time. This is changing, that is changing, everything is changing very fast. We are very slow in reacting. So we have to accept that things are changing very fast. I cannot take my own sweet time to decide what I need to do. And the last one is ambiguous. Ambiguity. There is huge amount of ambiguity in whatever we do. In people also, they will tell something but they mean something else. So we don't even know, right? For example, you can see before people were having loyalty, full loyalty. Hey, I am working for HMT, I am working for this company. Kushi. How much salary? The salary coming but full kushi. The loyalty was very high. Today, forget loyalty. Only everybody wants royalty. Royalty aste, correct? Oh, what is that? Ola will give you 3 free rides when you download the app. Yes. What they thought, everybody will become loyal customers. More ride free will become loyal customers. Is what they thought. Oh, 3 free rides you took. Next, Uber, download model. You have the other download model. No, there's no loyalty anymore. We are only interested in royalty. That is the ambiguity today. So the ambiguous twist today we have is nobody is bothered about that. 2,000 rupees extra means I will go. 5,000 rupees extra means I will go. Talk about people also. Oh, I have taken care of you so well for such a long time. Somebody gave 5,000 rupees extra, I'll go. Because somebody is giving me 5,000 rupees more. Now you should be prepared for this VUCA world. Be prepared for this VUCA world. Now if you are prepared for this VUCA world, now you're talking about bench strength. That is why we are talking about all others. Now you can link what I'm telling you. So if you are ready for the VUCA world, then you don't have any issues, because now you know there will be volatile markets, it will be uncertain, there will be a lot of chaos, and it will be ambiguous. And that's how the VUCA world will be. Am I very clear? Yes? Superb. Thank you. So is there
Thank you.
something
Thanks
else
a lot.
to include?
So we hope mentoring session had some inputs, and you can build on it always. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I hope you understood the entire session was taken in a way where one side I was trying to ensure that you are ready, and on the other side he was telling you about which are the directions in which you can go in. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session. Of course, though we did have a recording of this session, and this will be hosted on the YouTube so that the members at large can take the benefit. Of course, this was a very interesting session. I was glued for the entire session, though whatever work was down there, I said, no, let's leave it and let's sit for the entire session. And of course, definitely, thank you, members. Thank you for coming up. And we thought that this session, we had expected quite a lot of members, possibility of a weekday, so that's fine. As a token of appreciation, I request our chairman of Bangalore branch to hand over the token of appreciation as a mark of gratitude and respect. Once again, thank you, sir. Thank you for gracing this today's mentorship program and giving us a value addition. Definitely, whoever were here and probably people who will be watching this session will definitely get their value addition. Thank you, everyone. Good night.